Technology has given us an unprecedented window into the human body. But on a day-to-day basis, we're still in the dark about our own health. We are changing that.
You okay?
Do you feel okay?
What if instead of fearing the worst when you notice something out of the ordinary, you could identify the condition yourself? Getting the right diagnosis would save you worry
It says it's roseola.
and an unnecessary doctor's visit.
Rest at home. It's okay.
Oh.
It's okay.
Instead of hearing about a viral outbreak on the news, imagine you got an alert that was tailored to your family's needs. It would also give you advice about what to do next. What if you had a way to identify what was wrong right away?
It says it's 103.8.
A way to get all of the information you need to understand the situation. And in serious cases, you would know when and where to seek help.
Yeah, it recommends taking it to the urgent care.
We're building a way for people to check their bodies as often as they check their email. It's all possible, and it's only the beginning.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So, indeed, in 2011, we went with 3 people to Silicon Valley and to set up Scanadu with the ambitious idea of making the tricorder. And it's one of these beautiful things about entrepreneurship, because you don't know what you're getting into, and that's why you do it. So in retrospect, I don't know if I would still do it, but probably I would. So today I would like to tell you something about, since 2011 we have been surveying, focus grouping, and delving the American consumer in 6 cities. So thousands of people we have surveyed. That's San Francisco, LA, Washington, and we edged it with Phoenix, Austin, and Chicago. So in all these cities, we have been trying to find out what, if this American consumer is actually interested in shopping for medical services. And let me tell you just quickly what we came up with. So we did this in collaboration with IDEO, which is a design firm in Palo Alto, where we spent the first 3 months of our company inside First of all, in 2011, the consumer told us, we will use desktops, but not so much. We like our phones. In 2012, they were adamant, so we are not using desktops anymore. iPads and phones. In 2013, they're not going to use iPads anymore for their medical readings. They want it on their phone. They want scanning, so they want more scanning than tracking. In other words, the narcissism, so how they actually track themselves, is less interesting than the empathy that they could do. Like if you see in the movie that they want to scan their children themselves, they can get into a conversation about medical readings. So our bet for that is on empathy and not on the tracking devices. There is only one blockbuster device so for the moment that scales, and that is the thermometer. So if we have to put a tricorder in the American homes, it has to displace the thermometer. People love the thermometer because when their doctor arrives, he does not question the readings. He doesn't say like, oh, use my thermometer. It's an FDA, it's a class 2 device. The standards is widely accepted. And so the thermometer is the thermometer is the one to replace. We also found out that the consumer the attention deficit is enormous. It's 8 seconds, 8 to 10 seconds. So in 8 to 10 seconds, we have to come up with readings or the consumer switches off. 8 seconds is also, you know, what they say, it's how Twitter is versus reality, and it's also how long you have to put to be on a bull during the rodeo. So the 8 seconds was very important for us. The time budget and the money budget, 199 and 8 seconds they were our constraints. They want to share information, but not air for everyone. So they want to share in a limited group their medical readings. So they like the idea of a consumer pathway. Actually, they want more regulation from the government, but they want something to say in it. It's very strange because we thought that they would want less regulation, but the consumer wants more regulation. In effect, FDA are superheroes for them, you know, the Food and Drug Administration. They don't like to be moralized, they don't like to be patronized. They feel that in the healthcare system, they are being patronized, they are being treated like children. It is a 20th century, 19th century grand narrative, and they want it broken down. They want to be treated like adults as equal conversation partners. They want health to be uncuffed. They don't want a blood pressure cuff here. They don't want an SpO2 cuff on the finger here, like in the ER. They want it completely uncuffed. Otherwise, they will stop after 3 times, apparently. The first question they will ask any device maker as a consumer is, where is the magic? If you can't answer that one, you're gone. Citizen X is a concept that we came up with out of a big profile. Actually, they want to be citizen scientists. They want to break down barriers. They want to be citizen doctors. They want to play doctor. They want to play science. They think we are, as human beings, more than what they put a tag on us in a box. We want actually to enjoy the experiment of the diagnosis, of the diagnostic experience ourselves. And they want their health locker. They want to keep their own data, and there's no question about that. So, what we did when we started to make that device, so the tricorder out of the science fiction series Star Trek, we just looked at how hospitals are built, and we actually tried to build that real estate into silicon. So every hospital, every clinic in the world has 3 islands. It's the ER, and in the ER you have your vital signs. It's mostly electromechanical data. It is the imaging, you know, mostly in the basement, CT, MRI, and then there is the laboratory where they do fluids, urine, blood, saliva, and basically the right tricorder should combine these 3 idiosyncratic data sets. Yes, we'll go a bit further. Because I don't have a lot of time, and as you see, everything we predicted happened. So in 2014, so we believe that in 2014 it will be apparent to people that actually for a consumer, they don't want an instrument looking for something unspecific. They want a detector. They want a yes or no. The brand Faraday cages is an interesting concept because more and more we talk to a lot of brands, and brands are, you know, the battle has started for who will control the kitchen, who will control with sensors and the data, who will control the living room. So all these little real estate islands in our homes are going to be taken over by brands, and probably, you know, let's say Philips or Procter & Gamble will own your bathroom so we call that the Faraday cages, which you can embed with sensors and quantify the sensor. Person-centric data is really going, you know, become more and more important. user-aggregated data. People want to have their own data themselves, and they want it to be auto-populated. And it will certainly be an alternative to electronic medical records or clinical records. In 2015, as I said, citizen doctor and peer-to-peer medicine will be more and more important. I think that as the consumer or as the people have rewritten Encyclopedia Britannica, they will rewrite medicine into a sort of a peer-to-peer medicine. Data hygiene. A lot of people we talk to think that not collecting your medical data in the future will be undesirable, certainly as for mates, and will be something like not brushing your teeth, and some people go as far as to say that not collecting your medical data would be unpatriotic. Accelerometry is an interesting one because we ask a lot of people, and of course, in Silicon Valley you see a lot of people running, and you always feel like guilty that, of course, that you don't do it. But 99% of the people we talk to, consumers in the street, do not run. Actually, they do not like to move, and the idea of accelerometry has no value for them. So accelerometry and medicine will divorce at a certain moment. When medical data will become available to consumers, accelerometry and moving, burning calories will be less important. Even as far as everything that you now see in wellness tracking will become free, people won't pay for it anymore. And discrete, not continuous, will be the default because people think continuous is really invasive. And unlike tech-savvy people who like it, so consumer doesn't like it. You know that there is Watson from IBM, which is actually a sort of, how shall I put it, a sort of a Wikipedia for doctors. Well, I'm sure that by 2015 there will be a Holmes version somewhere only for consumers, how they actually can help them do recommendations about their health. And the Tricorder X Prize will be awarded in 2015, which we think will be very important because this will be the first step in a consumer pathway discussion with the Food and Drug Administration. We believe that also, well, it's in the same year, obviously a lot of stuff happening in that year. So we believe that when data will be available, that people will start to understand how they handle data. So in 2005, I spent a lot of time in the emergency room, not for myself, but as somebody who just had to sit there watching somebody else. And, because you don't understand, at first you just sit there, so you start to log. You start to log all the readings like heart rate, blood pressure. You write it down. And you start to count it. So you actually go through the first step of mathematics, it's arithmetic. But after a while, after 3 weeks, you suddenly have discovered a time series. So, and actually you are then going into calculus. And then you start to think like, what is the relationship between heart rate and blood pressure? There seems to be a pattern. So then you are into algebra. And suddenly it becomes clear that you forget everything around you and you think like, I can make a plan so that in future this becomes better. So then you are in geometry. And in the end, keeping and putting your own personal ranges, saying like, I want my blood pressure to be between that and that, that's topology. So whether you know anything about mathematics or not, you will go through the development of mathematics as a consumer. We believe that by 2016, time will have come for the tricorder as a chip, on a chip. So this will probably decrease the cost by, divide by 20 or 30. Exposomics, so how the environment impacts your health will be important and will be taken into the equation. Crowdsourced data next to inpatient data and outpatient data will be recognized. And a lot of products that now exist will become features in other products. And the tricorder will then actually become more like an instrument for the masses. Not a detector, but an instrument, like the microscope was an instrument for the masses. And precision medicine will be important. Cell counters, spectrophotometers, gas sensors, hyperspectral imaging, all these very specific technologies will go into more and more in the consumer tricorder. 2017, so we believe that it is time then for a non-invasive tricorder, because if something that the consumer hates, it's friction and invasion, of course, and not being able to, so pricking your finger or you know, taking saliva, or all this is pretty invasive. Although there's a lot less friction, but still the invasiveness will pass, we think, by 2017, which was actually also the real tricorder. And voice forensics, so how we parse voice, how we quantify tremors in voice, and how we relate that to diseases will become important. And you can, if you make it unstructured, you can even chase it through the telephone system. It comes with your bill. 2017, we believe that quantification will disappear, like just the numbers on the internet disappeared one day and all sorts of layers were put on it. Do I have to speed up? Okay. So medical time machines. We believe that there is a 43% penetration rate possible for tricorders in American households, not only by us, but by a lot of companies that will go into that race. Let's quickly, diagnosis, you know, it's a very 20th century word. So the 21st century word would be recommendation, you know. Amazon doesn't say you are just being diagnosed with reading this book. You know, we take our advice from the crowd and from other people. And we believe that tricorders will become device agnostic, probably embedded Android, that empathic algorithms will be built into our software. By the way, doctors are the ideal persons to be simulated in silicon. They have no emotions, they cannot show emotions, they have no sense of humor, and they have a restricted vocabulary. You know, this is all that the machine likes. So we also think that non-cooperative tricorders, which you could just point to someone like a laser Doppler, would become available. And as I said, life is a continuous function, and so is healthcare. We now see our lives as being sick or healthy. I think we have to imagine life as a continuum where there is only two singularities, birth and death, and all the rest, you know, not going in and out of the system every time, where we create a lot of cost and a lot of anxiety. And we believe that patient engagement will be the blockbuster drug. I'm almost done.
I don't mean to stop you. We're running a bit late and we don't want to kind of knock into the evening entertainment. I just want to ask you quickly about the Scanadu Scout. You had a very successful crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo. And you have a product that's due to come to market, is it next year?
In March, yeah, in March.
And what kind of price will it be?
$199.
Yeah. So about 140.
Yeah. So this product is for the first batch of 10,000.
And what will it measure?
It will measure all your vital signs, so respiratory rates, systolic and diastolic blood pressure, temperature, SpO2, oxygenation, ECG, everything you measure in an emergency room. And whenever you measure, so in 8 to 10 seconds, it will be stored and your personal analytics will actually parse it. And it comes with urine analysis, and later on we'll add saliva analysis.
So it's a little small plastic-covered device that you touch.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry we couldn't go into much more detail, but let's all wish Scanadu the best of luck with the Scanadu Scout. Thank you, Walter de Brouwer.